All right, Kelly, like you said, we're on a roll. The next short attention span webinar is about the best, the worst day or time to pick up the phone and call someone. And it's amazing how often I have this conversation when I'm giving a live presentation. I think everybody's got their own opinion, you know, that there's some assumptions out there. And if you ask people what's the worst day to make a call, they come back with Mondays. And what's their thinking here, Kelly?
I guess they think that because people have just come off from a weekend that they're going to turn on their computers and be inundated with stuff, and maybe even more importantly, be in a bad mood because it's Monday. Both of which I disagree with, and of course, you know, we're here to tell you that you should absolutely never, ever, ever exclude any day of the week as a bad day to call. So Mondays are not bad days to call.
Right, and now the second one is Fridays, and people will say, well, you know, nobody wants to hear from me on a Friday, especially the Friday afternoon, because they're getting ready to go for the weekend. They're trying to wrap up their office. They don't want to start anything new, and it's amazing to me how vacant the sales office can be on a Friday afternoon. Now, I got to tell you, if you're a salesman working for me and you're on quota, and you know you're on plan and you're doing well, and you're going to cruise out of there in the middle of the day on a Friday, I'm going to look the other way. I'm not going to mind, because that's part of the reason why we get into sales, to have that kind of flexibility. Now, keep in mind, if you got that kind of leeway, you're going to find that your numbers are going to bump up pretty significantly next year, because now I know that you know you're cruising along, and I'm going to want more out of you. But anyway,
well, and you should want more out of yourself.
Oh yeah, well, they should, but they don't.
Right.
But there's a couple things. You know, hear people say the worst day of the week. I've heard people say, by the way, that one of the best days of the week to call is on a Tuesday, and this was the thinking, Kelly, that the person said, you know, it's not a Monday, so you can throw that out. They're caught up with all the stuff that was going on. Tuesday's a day that they say, okay, let's get to work. And somebody told me that as a young sales rep, and it just stuck with me. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe it.
Okay.
So if it's a myth, okay. The best or worst time of day, let's talk about that. So the best time of day could be before work. Now, what time would that be? Like, if work starts at 8:30, 9 o'clock, what time are we talking about here?
Well, you know, again, it really depends. There's people that might say, well, let's start making calls the minute we walk in the door at 8 o'clock. I was just talking to a new client today who gets into her office between 6:30 and 7 o'clock every morning.
Okay.
So she's she's an early riser and a go-getter, and you know, she's in there doing paperwork. But one of the things I'm going to be working on with her is why not throw a couple of calls in there and be able to say, of course, you know, you're going to get voicemail that early in the morning, or at least you would assume that. But what's wrong with somebody going, man, this girl works hard. She's in her office at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to take her call next time she calls me.
You know what,
or you might catch another go-getter at their desk.
Well, that might be true too.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no secretary there, there's no receptionist there, there's no assistant there to filter the call.
Yep.
But the other thought is, okay, so what does that message sound like if you're going to make that call, and you know you're going to get voicemail? There was a guy years ago that used to get in at 5:30 in the morning, one day a month, and he'd call and leave a message that went like this: hey, this is Rocky. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to be the very first voice you heard on your voicemail this morning in the hopes that you call me back and reward my hard work. And
I love it.
He did it once a month. His name was Rocky Robert. I think I've mentioned his name before. Rocky did it once a month, and he said, yeah, you know what? I get 2 or 3 people call me back every time I do that. So
Fantastic.
just a great little idea. And, of course, one of my favorite sales tips. Do you want to deliver this one, Kelly? The best time of day to call someone and get them in their office?
Oh, it's I know this. It's 5 minutes before the top of the hour.
Why?
Because all meetings start at the top of the hour, so they're going to be at their desk getting ready for their meeting.
There it is.
Yay!
Right there. Congratulations. Now let's go to the bonus round. Yeah, just before the top of the hour, quarter of, 10 of, 5 of, there are times when you want to call someone and you don't want to talk to them. You just want to leave them a message. Call them after the top of the hour. They'll be in the meeting. You'll go to voicemail. That way you can just make the connection without spending the time talking about the Red Sox and the Patriots, amazing results lately. Hint, hint. All right, so there's just a few thoughts on some myth-busting, best, worst times of the day to call. Kelly, thanks very much.
Thanks, Bill.
And we'll talk to you all on the next Short Attention Span webinar.